During the election, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh had a great line about Justin Trudeau. He takes a knee one day, takes Indigenous kids to court the next. Trudeau says that's not true, but of course, that's what's happening right now. Warren Kinsella joins me now, fellow political columnist for the Toronto Sun. And Warren, 5:30 on a Friday afternoon, Mark Miller and Patty Hajdu hold a news conference to announce that they're appealing the Human Rights Tribunal ruling that says they have to compensate Indigenous kids. Isn't that what we call a Friday dump?
That's a Friday dump, that, taking out the garbage. You do that. You've been covering politics for a long time. I've been involved in politics a long time. You do that to hide the truth. You do that because, that's the time when people are paying less attention. Why did they do that? Because they went against their own word. Trudeau over and over. That's why we got flags flying at half-mast in this country. Trudeau says he's preoccupied with Indigenous children. Well, what does he do? Late on a Friday, when he hopes nobody's looking, he announces that he's appealing that decision and he's taking them back to court. And he's hoping we don't notice.
No, Warren, but they're going to have settlement talks. This is all good. We heard that from Rosie Barton at CBC, didn't we?
Yeah, Rosie, I guess acting as a spokesperson for the government, she actually expressed it better than they did, but it wasn't true. Forgive me for saying this, but I am a lawyer. You can have, as you know, Brian, settlement discussions at any point. You can have them before a trial begins. You can have them during the trial. You can have them, if it's a jury trial, you can have it when the jury is out. You can even have settlement discussions after there is a verdict, after there is a decision. So this notion that it was a big deal, according to Rosie Barton and others, that they're having settlement discussions, it's a lot of garbage, because you can have settlement discussions at any point before now. What are they really trying to do? Trying to hide the truth.
And the truth is, they wrote up an appeal and they filed it at the last minute, didn't they?
They did. They filed the appeal. It's got the official stamp on that first page. It's an appeal. If it walks like an appeal and talks like an appeal, it's an appeal. They're appealing the decision of the federal court. They want to overturn it. And, all of the opposition parties, the Tories included, have said enough is enough. Guys, you've lost. You've lost this case. If you mean what you're saying about truth and reconciliation, well, then drop the appeal and start looking at ways to negotiate a settlement. Well, now they're saying, well, we're going to negotiate a settlement, but they're also still appealing.
I think the question a lot of people have, though, Warren, is why does he keep appealing? The tribunal said that he has to do this. Courts have said he has to do this. What's the motivation? What's the reason for the constant appeal?
I think it's the precedent. And, this isn't something that he's expressed properly himself. This is the biggest decision that the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal has ever made in respect of a government. And I think what the Liberal government's afraid of, and the Harper government before it, is the precedent it creates that they are subject now to a decision of a human rights tribunal. And that can have a big price tag if you think about it going forward. But, as we were just saying, it's too bad, so sad, guys. You've lost that argument. You've tried to make that argument, and the federal court, not the Human Rights Tribunal, the federal court has said they disagree with you. So, could this one end up in the court of the Supreme Court of Canada? It could, but right now, everybody seems to be saying enough is enough.
You know what I'd like to see them do? Raise the flag and drop the appeal. The flag has become an empty gesture when it's no longer, it's just permanently down, but the court case is permanently on as well.
Yeah, and the Indigenous kids, and as you know, I represent Indigenous bands from BC to Ontario. The Grand Chief Archibald said, this guy is all about hollow gestures. He's all about hollow apologies. And the flag thing just doesn't have meaning anymore because the flags have been a half-mast since the end of May. I suspect most people don't even remember what it's about anymore. And that's a really sad thing, especially when you consider we've got Remembrance Day coming up.
All right, let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and of course, subscribe to our channel.